Hello everyone. I am back after a long summer with my boys and a very unintentional break that I took from work. This summer was really made me practice what I preach. Anyone who knows me personally knows that this past year, since I've had my youngest son, has been a very trying time for me, and I have put a lot of energy into healing tons of different things that go back to when I was 3 years old. But it all started after I had my second son, and I just knew that it was time to heal some things. So this past year has all been kind of focused on healing for me. And this summer really called me to dive a little deeper into that and surrender to that. So with that being said, I took a little break from work, a little break from producing any sort of content or working with any clients, and it was scary, but also exactly what I needed. Again, it really forced me to practice what I preach and to just lean into my intuition, lean in to my femininity, lean into what my body was telling me, and just giving myself space and time to heal and grow so I can show up here the way that I need to. I can show up at home the way that I need to. I can show up for my clients the way that I need to. And most importantly, I can show up for myself the way that I really need to. So it was an interesting summer. I hope you all had a great summer. But now we're almost into fall, which is really exciting. I love fall. I love summer, but fall is it's just such a grounding and magical time for me. So I hope that you are all doing well, and I'm excited to be back and continuing and creating these conversations that hopefully help you along your health path and give you at least one or two things each time to take away and to implement into your own life. But with that being said, when I was thinking of the kind of content that I wanted to create once I got done with my little summer break, the most important thing to me was to share what I have been reminded about so much over the summer. And that is, your health is not all up to the 80-20 rule. I think it's really wonderful that we have gotten to a place now where we don't feel like we have to be perfect in health. We don't have to be 100%. We can indulge in whatever way that looks like for you without feeling like you're going backwards in your health or you're losing all your progress or you're a bad person. So I think the 80-20 rule has been really helpful in terms of nutrition and movement. It gives people, just allows them to take a breath and relax. And again, not try to be perfect in any aspect. So I think that's really great. But I think it's also really important to understand that if you've been practicing the 80-20 rule in nutrition and movement and you still feel like you're not getting anywhere, you still feel like you're going back to old habits, or you're sabotaging yourself, or you're just kind of spinning your wheels, I think it's really important to also talk about the fact that it doesn't all come down to nutrition and movement. It doesn't all come down to eating 80% whole foods and 20% having those indulgences. A lot of our health is rooted in our relationships, and this is why coaching specifically is so important, because yes, nutritionally, we can talk about what works for you, what will work for you, and kind of what to focus on nutritionally, or same with movement. But it's also really important that we address the relationships that you have within yourself. So your outward relationships, your relationships with your community and other people around you is really important, but also the relationships you have with yourself and your relationship, primarily, to kind of put it all under one big umbrella, to your worthiness for rest and relaxation and your worthiness of health. When we don't have a healthy relationship with those things, with our worthiness, whatever that looks like for you when it comes to your health, we do create patterns and habits that do, I guess you can use the word sabotage. They do sabotage us because for some reason, whatever relationship we have with our worthiness to health is started because it was a way to keep ourselves safe in some sort of environment. So while right now maybe it's not serving you, at some point it was serving you, and your unconscious belief system kept you in these patterns because it kept you safe before, and now it wants to continue to keep you safe. And what I have come to learn both within myself and with my clients is simply just bringing some awareness to these belief systems can be really, really, really helpful, and allow you to break out of these patterns and habits and these belief systems that are no longer serving you, and retrain your brain and create new ones, create a new truth for yourself. These belief systems that we have, they come from so many different people and areas in our life. They can come from your parents' beliefs about you. They can come from your parents' beliefs about themselves that you internalized. They can come from the media. They can come from, I don't know, the advertisement you see as you're driving down the highway. They are belief systems that keep you stuck and keep you small. And so what I've really been focusing on with clients for the past couple of years is trying to uncover those and see, why is it so hard for you to make the choice that's in alignment with the person you want to be, right? Why is it that every time you encounter some sort of treat or indulgence that you feel like you physically can't say no, or you are constantly thinking about food all day, or constantly looking for that next diet, or constantly telling yourself that you're not good enough and you're just gonna have to give up and remain in an unhealthy state, or remain in the body that you are in, because that's just the hand that you were dealt. So addressing these belief systems, addressing that little voice in your head that is keeping you stuck and small, that you probably don't even realize is there, and realize that it is such a big determinant and controlling a lot of the actions that you're taking each day, a lot of times unconsciously. It's keeping you stuck. And so I just wanted to share a client story with you. A client that I worked with a couple years ago, her name is, we'll call her Melinda. She had a belief system that she was unaware of, that she was not worthy of time or money to invest into her own health. She was a mom, she was a wife. And if we think of what a good mom or a good wife is in our culture, luckily these belief systems are changing. But when she was growing up, the culture was very much, you need to be a selfless woman. You need to put everyone else before yourself. And if you take time for yourself, that's selfish. If you want to go to the grocery store without your kids, that's selfish. If you want to take an hour each night to go on a walk, to read a book, that's selfish, right? You need to always be at the ready for your kids and your husband whenever they call on you. And so she was operating from this belief system and really had no idea that she was. Like, she knew, but she didn't know, because every woman she had ever known had operated like that. And the ones who didn't, they were the ones that were talked about, right? They were the ones that When women were talking behind closed doors or men talking behind closed doors, those were the women that people would say maybe not so nice things about or call her selfish. And so that's where she was operating from. And what that led to was her feeling exhausted all the time, her being cranky and angry and just not having any energy to do anything, and just kind of running on E all of the time, but still having to go because her family needed her. And not only were they, probably taking advantage of the more people-pleasing ways that Melinda had, but also she was allowing them to as well. And once she recognized this, once we kind of got to the bottom of that and saw that her belief systems around her worthiness for health were unhealthy and they were a bit skewed, we were able to then bring awareness to that, allow her to bring awareness to the habits or patterns that she had in everyday life that were being controlled by that belief system, and allowed us to begin to rewrite it and allow her to really know the truth about her worthiness around health. So I wanted to share that just to show you how powerful it is just to bring awareness around something that maybe you learned when you were like 4 years old, when you were that little kid. You were a sponge, you were taking in everything around you, and you saw your mom just go, all, going to work and then coming home and cleaning and cooking and not sitting down until she went to bed at night, and, being on the ready for anyone who needed her. You were taking that in, and you are probably still operating from that belief system that you got when you were 4 years old. Even if you are part of, the way that the culture is changing, and you do think consciously, oh yeah, I do deserve time for myself. If you are unconscious of the patterns and behaviors that are happening on a day-to-day basis that are coming from that old belief system, you're going to feel like you're spinning your wheels, right? You're going to have sabotaging, and I say sabotaging in air quotes because it's not necessarily sabotaging as much as it is your actions just trying to keep you safe. But safe is no longer equaling healthy for you. So I'm sure a lot of women are sitting here nodding their heads, or like maybe just kind of stopped in their tracks, and they feel like I'm talking about them because this story is such a common one, and a lot of the same beliefs that I witnessed growing up. It was always great to be a selfless person, especially if you were a woman, right? I think we all, as women, have to unlearn that. And once you do, you can prioritize yourself, you can prioritize your health, and learn to love yourself again and treat yourself as someone that you love. And when that happens, that impacts every other part of your life, every other relationship in your life, including your relationship with your health. And so that can be a really big turning point if you are someone that feels like you've been spinning your wheels, or you just can't figure out what's wrong with you, or you feel like something's wrong with you. So if you relate to any of this and you just want to let me know, please do. I love hearing from people. I love hearing that you can relate to the stories that I'm sharing. I love building this community. Community is so important for us as women. So if this is something you relate to, please tell me in the comments or send me a DM or an email. I would love to hear from you. And I'll see you next time.